Outside of that stinker, what do you think of the new teams?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, one of my highlights, well, not my highlights of the week, but one of my highlights of the week, sorry, was uh, Leeds and the way they played, and I think the promoted sides this season is going to be an interesting ones to watch. I mean, we've sort of covered off Leeds a little bit, but I think the way they play the game, I think they're going to batter teams, and I think they're going to get battered. I can
Yes.
see Leeds losing some games 5-6-0, and I can see Leeds winning some games 5-6-0. And I've never seen a team like that in the Premier League since probably Blackpool. Do you remember when it was Ian Holloway's just
Yeah.
kind of, you basically outscore the opposition or we lose, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if they score 5, we score 6. And that's what we've got to do. And we've got no plan B. That is just it. And it was the best to watch. They ended up going down in the end. It was very close. And on the final day, they nearly took United all the way at Old Trafford to stay up. But I feel like Leeds is going to be the same sort of thing.
I don't think they'll get that close to going down. I think Bielsa's too good.
I think it'll be quite comfortable.
Well,
Well, this is the thing. I think
Bielsa's
Blackpool
not
team, if you
Holloway, is he?
remember it, if you remember that no, he's not. No, he is not. But if you remember that Blackpool team, they had, I think Matt Phillips they'd signed as like an 18-year-old from Wickham for like 300k or something, and he was their starting winger. And they had all the players they brought up from like League Two to League One. Gary Taylor Fletcher was still playing, I think.
What a
and
player.
so the talent within the team, no disrespect, they played in the Premier League and gave it an incredible fight, and it was amazing to watch. It was amazing to watch. I loved it so much. But Leeds have more talent than that Blackpool team. So if their sort of game plan is the same, you can see them doing quite well.
Do
because
they
Blackpool
though?
did quite well. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Blackpool didn't spend 25 million on a striker
Yeah, okay,
who was linked with Barcelona 2 transfer windows ago.
Take him out, take their marquee signing out of it, and take, Calvin Phillips
They've
out of
got.
it.
I was going to say they've got an England
Yeah,
international.
you take
as well.
those two
They've
out
got
of it.
Jack Harrison, who played for Man City.
How many games do you
And
start?
he
How many
was-
games do you start for Man City again?
I actually don't know. I don't think it was any, was
Yeah,
it?
exactly. He played for New York,
I don't
New
think
York
he-
City. Robbie Savage was a
yeah,
United
fine.
player, wasn't
Yeah, but he didn't play for Blackpool, did he?
he? No, but what I'm trying to say is
Oh,
you're using
sorry.
the fact he played for City as a good comparison.
Well, fine. He played. Well, he was on the books of City, and he also looks a very good player.
Yeah.
He looks, and he scored a fantastic goal. Helder Costa, was it Helder Costa? I think he was at Wolves, wasn't he? And he was playing in the Premier League. They got, like you said, Pablo Hernandez, who's got a bit of experience in the Premier League at least. He's playing a very different position to the one he was playing at Swansea. That suits his age and his qualities a bit more in terms of his sort of how he fits into the Premier League. I feel like they've got. I mean, they certainly look like more talent than
I think it's a
Blackpool
good
have.
system. I think it's Bielsa.
If you heard that, I don't know if you've listened to the Peter Crouch podcast, but there's a bit on that where he's talking about when Stoke signed sort of quite a few flair players, and they had like Shaqiri and Arnautovic, and they'd sort of Bojan,
was
I
the
think,
Dutch
and
one?
they Dutch one.
Played for Barcelona. Can't remember his name now.
He plays for
He used
Barcelona
to play for
now.
Barcelona.
Oh, is it the Spanish Muniesa?
No, I can't remember his name now.
Well, yeah, but they had all these things, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about when Ryan Shawcross, as sort of the dressing room spokesman, goes into Tony Pulis and says, "Boss, we've got some better players now. I think we can play a sort of a better system, whatever." Tony Pulis apparently word for word said, "Fuck off, Ryan. You've got your shit players in a fantastic system, and that's all you'll ever be." I thought that was so good. It's like such an arrogant manager thing to say. My system is what makes you Premier League footballers. You're all shit. Leave my office.
I love it.
And get out.
That's amazing.
So good.
And
So
do you know
yeah,
what
I
makes
can
that even
imagine.
better?
I can imagine.
What makes us still even better is how much he looks like the bad guy from Noddy. Like the little gremlins from Noddy. Oh, that's amazing.
So good. So I can imagine one of the Leeds players in about 18 months' time going into Bielsa and saying, "Boss, I think we can play a little bit more structured, maybe not as open, and we'll really dominate games." And him just going, "Fuck off! Your shit players in a fantastic system."
That's an amazing quote.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
So what did you think of? Oh, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think Leeds were pretty good. I think I had them at where have I gone 13th. I
think that's a good shout.
I think I'll stick by
that's
that.
quite a good
I think I'll
shout.
stick by that. Yeah, I think they look good, but I think it's Bielsa's the same manager more than them having great players. I think they're still a championship team. Whereas I think when Wolves came up, Wolves looked like I think Wolves had a better squad when they came up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
Wolves had players that could go and play in Inter Milan.
yeah, well they had Ruben Neves, didn't they? Who was
That's what I
the
mean,
youngest
yeah.
player to ever youngest
Didn't they
ever
have Diego
Champions League
Jota as well
Yeah.
in the Championship?
Adama Traore in the Championship. So they had a lot of the players they've got now
Jesus.
in the Championship. Connor
poor-
Cody, I know at
poor
the time, but now
Championship.
he's an England international. They had Dendoncker the first year he came up. They had all these players. Yeah, they had Johnny, they signed from Atletico Madrid, I think. They had Jan Moutinho that first year in the Premier League. They had an unbelievable squad. I think to compare them to Leeds, I think it's doing Wolves a disservice. So
Yeah.
I think they're
And that will probably reflect in league position, because where did Wolves finish in the
Seventh, I
first
think,
season?
this
Was
year.
it seventh? Was it? Yeah. So Leeds, we're saying, are very good, have a very good system, but probably won't go to that height just yet. I think they will build on it, and they might do it in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 13 is probably a good shout.
and the other two are going down. No questions.
Well,
Fulham were
Fulham-
dreadful. Dreadful.
were they, or were
awful.
Arsenal brilliant?
Oh, grow up. No, Fulham were absolute garbage. How many shots they have on target?
I do think Arsenal dominated them, though.
Yeah,
But
but I think Fulham were terrible as well. It was one of those.
I do, yeah. I think they weren't great at all. They had their spells where they looked decent, but the only real chance they had where I actually kind of got a bit nervous was when our own player passed it back and Gabriel left it in the opening minutes, and Kamara nearly nipped in.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I didn't feel under pressure at all.
Kamara scored 4 goals last season.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't got he did the right thing trying to take it around Leno, and it was a good save, but he hasn't got that sort of poacher's natural goal scoring instinct.
I'd be worried for Fulham.
Yeah, so would I.
I'd
So
be
would
worried for
I.
Fulham. And I didn't really watch the Leicester game yesterday, but just because of Jamie Vardy obviously doing his thing again, I'll let them have a game off, because it's a team who realistically were probably last year from the full 38 games across the season. I know the table says something different. They were probably the third best team in the league with Vardy firing, weren't they? So if Vardy's going at 100%, they were the third best team in the league last year. It's just when his form dropped off, the whole squad dropped off. So
I watched a bit more of, not watched the game live because I was away, but I watched the highlights and extended highlights and sort of looked at it. But I thought West Brom were really poor, really poor. And I think they've got to learn quickly. Bilic's system is attacking. We know that. It's not overly attacking, fine, but it is attacking. And they really didn't look like they had the defence to deal with it at all.
no,
And it was similar to Fulham. It just looked like we were going to tear them apart. And it's not like Arsenal have the most, rampant attack or anything. And it's certainly not. I mean, Leicester probably a little bit more. And obviously there was 2 penalties in that. But yeah, I just think I'd be worried for Fulham and West Brom fans. I would be.
yeah, I think they're both. I think they're both going down personally. I have Brighton as my other one going down this season.